American food is black food, but most people don't really make this connection because understanding the true roots of American food helps people understand oppression. This past December, I went down to North Carolina to learn from a group of folks who have been practicing hog raising and butchery since emancipation. I learned so much. Let me show you. All right, y'all. Yeah. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm a wildlife ecology professor helping you build the wild kitchen. Pigs, I think, are one of the most misunderstood animal relatives that we regularly interact with and consume. A lot of people have issues with pigs and don't eat pork. One, because of a specific set of ways that pigs are raised in industrial farming. I don't really have an issue with not wanting to eat industrially produced meat. It's not something that I like to do either. Now, the other issue that's probably less understood is that pigs are not native to this continent. They were imported by European colonizers. And in many cases, they have transformed environments in not so great ways and displaced lots of native species and altered the ecology of places all over the continent. That's a discussion for another time, definitely. But since they're here, many people have used pigs, and even in their native habitat have used pigs, because they are such an amazing converter of what humans would consider food waste into fat and protein. And if you think about it, fat is one of the most important nutrients that humans consume, but we don't really find abundant quantities of that amongst our animal relatives outside of cultivation. Sure, you can feed a cow lots of corn and get it to that nice marbling texture, but the physiology of the cow is going to suffer because cows don't really eat corn or other high starchy carbohydrates as part of their natural diet. Pigs, however, are amazing animal relatives because they eat almost anything. People don't realize that pigs are omnivores. And so because of that, they are a fantastic livestock animal because you can feed them virtually anything and they will convert what you feed them into delicious protein and fat and in absolutely massive quantities. And so because pigs are so useful and because you can't tell the story of American food without black folks, pigs are essential to understanding American cuisine. And they also are essential for the ways in which black people, under considerable negative conditions throughout our history in this country, have been able to survive and thrive. If you haven't read Monica White's book, Freedom Farmers, I think it's something that you should definitely check out. And in that book, she outlines important figures in American history, like Fannie Lou Hamer and George Washington Carver, in the ways that these two individuals were essential to understanding the food landscapes of the past and the present. One of the essential components to Fannie Lou Hamer's plan for black agrarian self-sufficiency in the Deep South was the pig bank, a cooperative arrangement where black families would raise pigs and distribute those pigs amongst families that could feed them throughout the year. Now, in going on this trip, I learned that this is a practice that my family had living in Florida and that many black families had. They would raise pigs all year and in December butcher them and have enough meat and fat to feed their families throughout the year. Now, another great thing about pigs is that they don't really travel that far. And so you can create a relatively small enclosure, feed the pigs, and they're happy to stay put until it's time for them to be harvested. So in my quest to gain more control over how my food is harvested, processed, and made, I was able to make this connection through friends of friends in North Carolina and was excited to get an invitation to join them for their annual hog slaughter. Now, this video is going to feature my second time at this event, but the first time that I was able to record what was actually going on. I'm joined with my dad, who was also really curious about this experience, having grown up with cousins who participate in an annual hog slaughter. So I'm going to take you with me and show you how this process is done, and then talk about the broader context of what this dying practice amongst black families and families in general in this country means. And if you were curious what it's like to try to transport a 400-pound pig from North Carolina to Michigan, partially on the plane, partially by vehicle, then this is the video for you. All right, let's get going.
Man, walk back 3 times. They ain't said a word. He just saying, what's wrong with you, brother?
He want the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
You can have my part, but I don't want
Yes, sir.
This one here?
Yeah.
740.
740 pounds.
This one. So
A lot of fat.
that's a lot of fat. That's a lot of fat. That's a lot of deliciousness.
Hey folks, I just wanted to take a break and let you know that one of the best ways to get the most out of the content on this channel is to subscribe to my newsletter. Every Sunday, I give you more depth and insight into the topics I cover on Out There JCH, including thoughts and perspectives that I don't really share on this platform. The newsletter is free to sign up, and as an incentive to becoming a subscriber, I'm offering a free wild food resource guide that will help make you a more capable harvester and home cook. Just click the link in the description to sign up. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
And that was a good little hunting spot too. That's what I really, wake it up, roll out to bed, and right into the stand. That was the best part, but it's all good. It's all good. Now, he tasted fine. That pig was so mean, I thought he was going to.
They gonna, where's all the people you remember all the people they had last year washing them chitlins? And
They'll be here eventually.
yeah, that's too cold for them to show. You got on microphone?
Yeah, Jonathan talking about he wanted to
You too.
film stuff. Yep. Said okay.
Put him on this, yeah. On your belly. No, you gotta pull. Somebody, yeah, you gotta put him on the belly. Go ahead. Pull yours. So you gotta hold yours. I'm gonna put him on there. There we go.
All right.
Hold it right there, John. Pull it tight. Pull it tight. Got enough of us on the roof. No way, I gotta do all this by myself. What, Jonathan? You make a man out of here. Yeah, they're blown with that one rubber head. Flip on over there. Let him go on over. Loosen yours up. Loosen up.
Okay.
Pick him up a little.
Oop.
Working.
Yeah,
Once we get him out, we're going to have to work on him then. Like we did last time, it'll come on.
some back come off.
Like I said, them damn head, I put them back in the water.
Back in the water?
Yeah, later, after we cut them off. They're the head one.
Oh.
If she can't do nothing else, she'll be able to do damn head.
Oh. Johnny over there, everybody.
What you think, Dave? Ain't that right?
You're right.
So friend, you are. You turn in a minute.
Yeah.
So in case you hadn't picked up on things, the man with the J-Rock construction sweatshirt is Mr. Johnny. He's the person who runs the show. And the person he was shit-talking is Caitlin. And she is the sort of like right-hand person, second in charge of this whole operation.
Yeah.
The process of scraping hair off of a pig is really hard work. And the reason why you'd want to do this is to keep the skin, be able to keep and eat the skin to make pork rinds and do other things with. But it's a really tricky process because the water temperature has to be just right so that you don't scorch the hairs so that they cannot be removed from the skin if the water is too hot, or obviously if the water is too cold, then they don't loosen the hairs from the skin. So this process takes about an hour for each pig, and on this day we did 4 sows. We didn't take the skin off of the boar because the boar was just going to be skinned and essentially ground into ground pork. Because boars tend to be pretty smelly. But this is a lot of work per pig. So I think it's important to understand that and to understand what goes into your meat. This is Mr. D. He's the gut man specialist. He is a pig farmer, and he's the person who guts all of the pigs, takes all of the innards out, and he is just surgical with all of his tools. It's amazing to watch him work.
But it's also, if you cut it when, you know, if you want like a pork chop or your bacon or anything like that, it's this outer fat that's going to be in there if you got a good quality bacon that you put in the pan and it doesn't shrink, right? Mm-hmm. When you've got a piece of bacon like this and you cook it and suddenly you got a piece of bacon like this, it's because they've used this other fat.
Oh.
Right? So it looks really good in the package. And this fat too, if you soak that piece of meat in salt water, it'll plump it up and make it look twice the size that it actually is. But as soon as you put it in the pan, all that water's going to come right out.
So they're just conning us when we go to the store, huh?
Make $1. This is the real deal. Here, we gotta split this one.
Oh, right, all the way down the.
And he didn't split the breastbone down here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's not opening. Yeah, because we'll split these in half. But let me take this head off.
Yours is not going to be this big.
No, I mean, it is. I'm there in person. Like we get a lot more done. But
I have to figure something out. Might have to figure something out, Pop. So when you do pork belly, you don't do like all the way across. It's like one section of abdominal muscles and fat, right? Or do you try to get like just peel the whole thing down?
I don't know how you're supposed to do it. We just take that whole middle slice, kind of where the nipples are. Use that as the pork belly. That's technically the true pork belly. So in Korea, the pork belly is actually the most expensive cut of meat. Here it's relatively cheap, but in Korea that is the prime cut. So much so that a lot of vendors now sell other rib meat, other parts of, and neck meat and stuff, other parts of the pig, and they have named it like certain special cuts of pork belly. Has nothing to do with pork belly, but you can get more money off of it.
Right.
If
you sell it that way,
right.
yeah.
So
It's like back pork belly.
Yeah, or like prime pork belly. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But that's like the hustle.
the pork belly sells for many times the price of any other cut on the pig. And those other cuts are good too. They're just not.
They're just not pork belly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been surprised at just how dark it is.
This is what pork is supposed to look like.
Right.
That whole campaign of pork being the other white meat actually comes from the commercialization of egg. Because when you have a confined pig that doesn't develop the muscle structure, not the muscle structure, but it doesn't get the proper, I'm forgetting the name of the protein, but you know what I mean. When the animal can't move around and doesn't build up proper muscle tones, those muscles, right?
Yeah.
The tissue isn't oxygenated in the way that it's supposed to be, and so you get a lighter colored meat.
Right.
Like, this is the same reason why chickens can't fly, right? So the breast meat is white, the leg meat's dark, but a duck is going to have dark breast meat.
Right.
Right? So muscles get moved. So the same thing with the pork. So when commercial ag started bringing pork to market, people didn't want to buy it at the butcher shops because it didn't look right. It was too light. And so they needed a way to move this pink meat because people thought pork was supposed to be red.
Right.
So they came up with this tagline of pork, the other white meat.
It's where we're at, it's what you want, it's on your mind, it's in your mouth, it's pork, and it's catching on. The other white meat. Taste what's next.
You come all the way here.
Because you had to convince a consumer to buy something that was really, really different, that had a different flavor profile, that had a different texture, because of the way the texture is. You can come all the way through there, right down to the bone. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, there it is.
You can bust that down the middle. See what you're working with.
One more. Hogzilla.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Huh? We gonna bust this one?
You.
Okay, so in here first?
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw me do 3. Go straight down. See, that's the middle of them right there.
Uh-huh.
Straight down. Go
up that way?
Yeah. No. Go in the same line. Go in the same line right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go up. Yeah, you're gonna go straight down the center of that.
Uh-huh.
See how you
Yeah,
getting
a
over?
little bit over. Yeah, I got you.
This side just here.
Uh-huh.
All you,
Yeah.
got all your tongue line stuff on that side.
Uh-huh.
You put most on this side. That's fine.
Okay.
No big deal. It ain't in one part. It's in there.
All right, I'm going to stop things right here because there's just so much more to show you. So this is just going to be part 1 of this episode. In the second part, I'll show you my learning process for breaking down an entire pig and how I transported 275 pounds of pork from North Carolina back to Michigan. There were so many lessons in this process that I think it's important to reflect on what food really means for each individual person, family, and community. So I'll talk about that in part 2. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time on